it's quite often that I get approached by people, not quite often, but a couple times a year, saying, "Hey, wow, cool. I think my kid wants to be a pilot, this, and that." And I said, "Hey, if you see them playing with like airplanes, him or her, whatever it is, or whoever it is, like keep your eye on that, man, because I don't know anybody that flies that hasn't dreamt about it their entire life, right?" So having said that, I was like that kid, man, and I had this kind of like interesting upbringing with my mother, who was like, let's just say she had her own unique set of issues, right? So at a very young age, man, like I was like probably like 6 or 7 years old, like building models, those testers kits, right? And I had built everything, and I could name every single airplane, man, F-16 Fighting Falcon, B-25, B-52, F-15. I mean, I had them all, man, and like it was kind of like my escape, in life. Again, like there's some stuff going on with my mom, and so, I mean, at a very young age, like I definitely had that like aviation itch, and I wish like my family would have looked out for it, looked out for it for a while. And it was interesting. So I'm gonna tie everything together. But so it's funny because I remember like at about 8 years old, my mom was really interesting. Like character. She's not alive anymore, but she's like she was probably like a little bit bipolar. And I remember like I'm a hyper observant person, and this started when I was a kid because I could like hear the tempo of the high heels coming into the house after work and how the door opened, and if it was a quick tempo or the keys slammed down. Building models and stuff was part of my escape. And I remember one time, man, there was, or not one time, but there was a period in my life where I learned to kind of like deal with her episodes by kind of shutting down. And it was like and it was weird because I remember the exact time it happened. She came in and like literally just went DEFCON 5 on me, and I just like shut it down, right? Like I just went stoic or whatever, blanked out or whatever. And it was like the first time I felt power, like a way to sort of control the situation, And
How old
then
were you at
what's
that
that?
time? How old were you when that happened?
I was about 8 years old.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, probably around 7 or 8. Yeah. And then this one time, or there's a second time. There's numerous occasions, dude, but there's this one time she came in and just went DEFCON 5 on me, right? And I was just like, but by that time I had kind of like somewhere in like my adolescent brain, I had figured out like, okay, if I just shut down and don't give her attention, like don't entertain it, like we'll be good. And I had, again, all my models, I had put them all together, glued them, like painted them all. Some of them I painted, like figured out a way to paint camouflage on some of the fighter jets. And I just completely ignored her and just shut down, turned my back, just sat there like almost like in a Buddhist position. And she came in and smashed all my models, dude. Like
Oh,
just just went ballistic, dude. I was like,
dang.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, smashed them all. And then we had like in the back of our house, we had this like detached garage that had like a lot of furniture and stuff. And so like it was kind of a mess back there, but I found like an old lamp and built like an old fort. Not a fort, but like there's like a desk, a couple milk cartons or whatever. And I had like made a little desk out of a piece of wood, and I was trying to glue my models back together, and they were just decimated, man. And I
Oh,
never thought about aviation. Yeah, I never thought about aviation again, And it wasn't until like after I graduated from college, I came back. So I'm originally from the San Francisco Bay Area, but so I was born and raised in the Silicon Valley. So went to school in Southern California, out in Fullerton, graduated, came back home, worked my first corporate job, took off to Japan after that. I've been involved in like judo, basically contact sports my entire life, jujitsu, judo, etc. Was at that corporate job for about 9 months, went to Japan, had a great time there, competed, came back, and then actually started my own company. And this was like in 2006 when I came back. So I just got the company up and running. We're profitable. At one point, I had $55,000 like cash in my bank, not in the business account. And then the economy just went
yeah.
tanked,
Oh,
dumped, dumped. I mean, like in a time span of weeks. And it was interesting because, like, at the time that I started the company, I was working on my private pilot's license. And so I was just like, it's kind of one of these moments. I mean, the economy dumped. I bought a house, actually, a really nice condo. Like, I mean, it was like everything was going great. And I was just like, you know what? I just kind of had this talk with myself because I lost the condo and I was like literally like homeless for a while, sleeping out of my car. And I was just like, you know what, dude, you spend all your money flying. You're making all this money and then you spend it flying whenever you can, just hopping in a 172 car, flying around the Bay Area. Like, why don't you just like become a commercial pilot? Started looking into it, and it's kind of like the traditional route. Like, okay, I could be a CFI, and the exact thing I told myself was like, dude, a lot of these CFIs are kind of poor, but like, hey, if you're not going to make a lot of money, at least you could do something that you enjoy. So ended up not going the CFI route. Went to Northtown Aviation in where was this? It was in Bullhead City, Arizona. Got my commercial pilot's like yeah. I went to like one of these intensive like it was a Part 61 school, but it was like 1 month. I got my commercial single engine IFR and then commercial multi. That's actually where I met Abby.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. So I don't know if John,
Bobby's a
if you know the
mutual
story.
friend of ours. Yeah.
No, I'm not familiar.
No,
Okay.
yeah, it's a side story. We'll talk about it
Yeah,
some
so
other time.
he's kind of like this eccentric Jewish guy, man. From like, it's funny because he's from Los Angeles. Originally, actually, he was born and raised in like Beverly Hills. He grew up in like the 90211 or something like that.
Yeah.
But he's a super eccentric guy. He literally taught himself how to fly. Bought a 182 from a drop zone that had been rebuilt, and then flew it down to Bullhead City, Arizona, to go get flight training. Right? Yeah. So I met him like we weren't in the same like class, but we were in the same program, and so like we were there for about I don't know it was like 6 weeks or something like that. And he's like one of these guys that like knows everybody, man. And so like we both just discussing things. Hey, I'm from Northern California. He's from Southern California, which in theory we shouldn't like each other. We should be mortal enemies, but that's a separate conversation. Same goes with you, Scott. So, anyways, like he finished like a week before I did, and then I did my commercial, my what is that, AMEL, and then like I'm on my way back from Bullhead City in my beat up like Honda Civic back to the Bay Area, which is like a 17-hour drive, something stupid like that. And I sent him like this stupid message. I was like, "Yo, man, I'm a commercial pilot, dude. I'm badass," or something stupid like that. And he replied back, "Hey, man, you want a job? You want a job flying jumpers?" Like, what is that? Like, what are your plans? I'm like, I don't have a pot to piss in, man. I just blew like every last dollar I have.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I have enough gas money to get home. Just told him, I said, let me get home. I'll call you like the next day at 11 o'clock in the morning. I said I'm about 97% sure I'll take the job, but just let me just get settled. And I called him up, and he's just like, "What do you think, man?" I'm like, "I don't know anything about the job." He's like, "You got a trailer?" And I'm like, "Nope." "You got a couch?" He's like, "Yeah, we got a couch." I said, "Cool, man. When do you need me?" So headed down to Idaho, Skydive, Idaho, which is in Star, Idaho, which is like what is
Mhm.
that, 14 miles west of Boise. So got checked out on the 182, started flying jumpers. Man, I think I logged like something like 400 hours that season in a 182.
That's a
Um,
lot. That's
yeah, yeah,
quite
yeah. Yeah, it was quite a bit. But I mean, but at the same time, man, like we were ferrying back and forth from like Star to like Twin Falls for maintenance and stuff
Really?
like that. Yeah. And then at one time, actually, Abby owned the 182 and a 152, and then he sold the 152, and then I actually ferried it to Arizona, which was kind of a
Oh,
sketchy
wow.
flight. But yeah, it was super sketchy. I got to fly over the Grand Canyon, dude. But anyways,